You're standing near the water. Everything seems quiet. Just a muddy river, a quiet swamp, a lake shore that looks completely harmless. Then you hear something, a tiny splash, a ripple, a slight movement in the water, almost too small to notice. But when you look closer, that thing floating out there is not a log. It's a crocodile. And the most terrifying part is, it may have been watching you for a long time. If it charges, you'll only have seconds to react. So what do you do to survive? In today's video, we're going to break down how dangerous crocodiles really are, how they attack, when humans are most at risk, the deadly mistakes people make, and what you need to do if you ever find yourself face to face with one of the most terrifying predators on Earth. Because when it comes to crocodiles, you are not dealing with an animal that simply bites. You're dealing with an ambush machine, perfected over millions of years. Part 1. Why crocodiles are so dangerous. Crocodiles are some of the most feared predators in rivers, swamps, lakes, and coastal wetlands. They are dangerous not because they are the fastest animals alive, and not because they attack wildly without thinking, but because they are patient, silent, and incredibly precise. A crocodile's body is built for ambush. Its eyes and nostrils sit high on top of its head, allowing it to stay almost completely underwater while still seeing and breathing. Its rough, armored body makes it look slow and heavy. But that appearance is deceptive, because when it strikes, it explodes with terrifying speed over short distance. Its first weapon is silence. You usually don't hear it coming. You don't see it closing in. You don't realize you're being watched. Its second weapon is crushing bite force. When a crocodile clamps down, it doesn't feel like an ordinary bite. It feels like a living steel trap. But its most terrifying weapon of all is timing. A crocodile does not need to chase you for long. It only needs to wait until you're close enough, careless enough, slow enough, and then launch one violent attack. With a crocodile, the fight often begins before you even know it's there. Part 2. How a crocodile attacks. A crocodile rarely begins with noise or obvious aggression. Most of the time, it starts by staying completely still in the water, showing only its eyes and nostrils. From a distance, it can look just like driftwood. Then, when the target gets too close to the shoreline, the attack usually happens in 3 steps. First, the silent approach. The crocodile moves in from beneath the surface, or from a hidden position near the bank. The closer you are to the water's edge, the less time you have to react. Second, the explosive strike. It launches out of the water with shocking speed and clamps onto whatever it can reach. A leg, an arm, your torso. Anything close enough. Third, the drag. And this is where things become truly deadly. Many victims do not die from the first bite. They die because the crocodile pulls them into the water, throws them off balance, drowns them, or tears them apart in chaos and panic. If the victim continues fighting, the crocodile may use what's known as the death roll. It twists its entire body with brutal force, ripping flesh, breaking bones, and destroying orientation. That is why crocodiles are so terrifying. They don't just attack you. They use the environment itself as a weapon. Water, mud, panic, rotation, loss of balance. Everything starts working in the crocodile's favor. And if the attack happens at the water's edge, you are fighting on its ground, not yours. Part 3. When crocodiles attack humans. Crocodiles do not spend every moment hunting humans. Most of the time, they conserve energy and wait for the right opportunity. But the danger rises sharply in certain situations. The first is when people stand, kneel, crouch, or wash themselves too close to the water's edge. The closer you are, the less time you have. For a crocodile, just a few feet can be enough. The second is swimming in water where crocodiles live. In the water, you're slower than the crocodile, weaker than the crocodile, and almost completely outmatched. You may not be able to see it at all, but it can sense movement extremely well. The third is during early morning, late evening, or nighttime. Those are the moments when visibility drops and your ability to spot danger gets worse. Risk also increases around dead animals, fish remains, splashing, blood, nesting areas, or anywhere crocodiles may feel territorial. A mother protecting eggs or hatchlings can become extremely aggressive. But the most dangerous situation of all is when you don't realize the place you're standing in is crocodile territory. That is how many attacks happen, not because the victim wanted to take a risk, but because they thought the place was safe. They saw calm water, and forgot that calm water does not mean empty water. Part 4. Deadly mistakes. The first deadly mistake is staying too close to the shoreline for too long. The longer you remain there, the more time the crocodile has to judge distance, angle, and timing. The second mistake is trusting still water. Many people assume that if they cannot see a crocodile, then there must not be one nearby. That is a dangerous illusion. If crocodiles are good at one thing, it is disappearing in plain sight. The third mistake is panicking and struggling blindly after being pulled into the water. At that point, many people thrash, scream, swallow water, lose orientation, and burn through their energy in seconds. The more control you lose, the more the crocodile gains. Another common mistake is letting pets enter the water or entering unfamiliar water without caution. Dogs, small animals, and frantic splashing can trigger a crocodile's hunting response, and when a person rushes in to help, they may become the next target. The final mistake, and one of the most dangerous of all, is assuming a crocodile on land is slow and harmless. Yes, it cannot chase you forever, but over short distance, especially in that first burst, it is still fast enough to reach you before you're ready. A lot of people do not die because they had no chance. They die because they recognized the danger too late. Part 5. If you come face to face with one. If you spot a crocodile before it notices you, back away immediately. Do not make sudden noise. Do not throw rocks. Do not move closer for a photo or video. Just leave the water's edge as calmly and quickly as possible. If the crocodile has already seen you, do not turn your back and freeze. Slowly move away while keeping your eyes on it, and create as much distance from the water as you can. Your goal is not to confront it. Your goal is to get out of its strike zone. If it starts moving toward you on land, move faster and keep creating space. A crocodile is most dangerous at close range. You need to get beyond that first explosive lunge. If it actually charges, do everything you can to avoid being dragged into the water. That is your #1 priority. Grab roots. Grab branches. Grab rocks. Grab the bank. Hold on to anything solid. If you are still on land, your chances are much better than if you go into the water. If it bites you, do not just scream and flail without direction. Fight back with purpose. Target sensitive areas like the eyes, the snout, and the throat if you can. Punch, stab, jam, scratch. Hit with anything you have. Anything that forces it to loosen its grip or shift position can save your life. It sounds brutal, but once a crocodile has hold of you, this is no longer the moment to worry about hurting it. This is the moment to survive. Part 6. How to survive the attack. If the crocodile attacks out of territorial aggression or ambush instinct, your best strategy is simple. Get away from its zone as fast as possible. You do not need to beat it. You only need to deny it control. But if it has already bitten you and is trying to drag you into deep water or begin a death roll, then your strategy must change instantly. Now you fight hard. You fight fast. And you fight with focus. Your first priority is to keep your head above water. Your second priority is to avoid being rolled. Your third priority is to break free from the jaws. If one arm is still free, attack the eyes. If your legs are free, kick the head or body to create space. If you have anything in your hand, a stick, a bottle, a tool, a rock, a knife, a camera, use it immediately. In a few seconds like that, almost anything can become a weapon. If you manage to break free, do not stop. Do not turn back. Do not try to collect your things. Run. Get as far from the water as possible and seek emergency medical help immediately. Even if the wound doesn't look catastrophic, it can still be life-threatening. Crocodile bites can cause massive bleeding, crushed bones, deep tissue damage, and severe infection. Surviving the first strike is not the end of the danger. It is only your second chance. Part 7. How to avoid an attack. If you want to reduce the risk of a crocodile attack, always keep your distance from the shoreline in any area where crocodiles may live. Do not swim, wade, fish too close to the bank, or wash yourself in water with poor visibility. Always watch for warning signs, slide marks in mud, tail drags, flattened grass, animal remains near the water. Local warning signs. All of these matter. Avoid the water during dawn, dusk, and night. Those are the moments when you're hardest to protect and easiest to surprise. Do not let children or pets play near the edge. They are smaller, lower to the ground, and more likely to make quick, unpredictable movements that attract attention. And the most important rule of all is this. If you know crocodiles live there, do not treat the water like it is harmless. Do not trade your life for a few careless minutes. Survival does not begin when the crocodile bites. It begins long before that, with whether or not you gave it the opportunity. Ending. To survive a crocodile, you do not need to be stronger than it, because you won't be. What you need is to understand it better. Understand that the most dangerous thing about it is not the roar, but the silence. Understand that it does not need to chase you far. It only needs you close enough. And understand that in a crocodile encounter, the biggest mistake often happens before the attack even begins. Because sometimes what decides whether you live or die is not the strength of the monster in the water. It is whether you realized you were already standing inside its hunting zone. Subscribe for more animated survival videos. Next video. What if you were attacked by a giant python?